I'm really excited to be here with you all today. My name is Connie Watkins. I lead our sales and customer success team for Amazon Connect here at AWS across the Americas business, so all of the US, Canada, and LATAM. I've been leading this team for the last 3 years. It's been an amazing experience. But before coming to AWS in this role, I was sitting in your seat in the audience as a customer. I worked for Geico Insurance for 12 years and had a number of different roles in the organization, but I actually started as an agent in the contact center and moved my way up. 6 years in technology, I was an IT director of engineering, and then an officer running the operations in Arizona. So a very different lens to look through and really thinking about how technology can transform. So just so excited to be here with you all today, and I'm so excited because Travis Gelbrick is here from our Petco team, and he's going to be diving deep into how Petco is utilizing Amazon Connect to transform their customer experience. So what I love to do to get us warmed up, again, you all just came off of lunch, is I'd like to share some data with you to start the conversation and the dialogue. And because we're going to be talking with Petco today, I brought some data to bear about generative AI changing retail experiences. So the first stat is 71%. So around 71% of consumers say they actually want generative AI embedded in their shopping experiences, and roughly 3/4 are open to AI-generated product recommendations. I would say today I'm a walking testament to this. If you see my kicks down here, my new On Clouds, match my t-shirt, match the orange blazer, all of this was recommendations that I got by shopping on Amazon.com, by going to On Cloud's website. And if any of you, raise your hand in the room if you shop some Black Friday or Cyber Monday sales. Yeah, guilty as charged. Lots of brown boxes showing up at my house this week. A lot of that is being driven by this, right? All of the data behind the scenes is driving these decisions. But it makes it easy. It makes it really easy to click buy in the cart. The second number I wanted to share is 1,200 to 1,300%. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is this? Traffic to US retail sites from generative AI sources. So this is essentially people clicking through AI assistants into stores. It jumped over 1,200 to 1,300% within the last few months. That's crazy. I think that really shows how fast this space is changing with generative AI and agentic AI in the mix to drive different behaviors in the retail space. And the last stat I wanted to share is 1 trillion. So this comes from a McKinsey report that was published in October, and this is by 2030, US B2C retail market alone could see up to 1 trillion in orchestrated revenue from agentic commerce, with global projections reaching as high as 3 to 5 trillion. So this is a journey that we're going to all be on together. Throughout the course of the conversation today, I hope you can have some good takeaways about how we see this market changing and some of the key trends, which is where I'll go next. So you're probably sitting in the room, and if any day you wake up and you turn your laptop on, you're hit with a lot of new information, right? There's a lot of trends that are coming onto the market all the time. And it's kind of overwhelming. It's a lot of oversaturation. So a lot of noise out there, and some trends aren't worth chasing, but others are certainly worth leaning into and truly understanding. And there's 6 that I have on the slide today that I wanted to take you all through together. And the first is consumer awareness and adoption. Coming off of the height of the pandemic, there was a heightened perception for customers, right? It all got us changing our behaviors, doing a lot more digitally. And we're increasingly tech savvy. We know what we want, when we want it, and we're very demanding. So a lot of higher expectations from consumers and the experience that they want to get and receive for digital self-service, and a growing understanding from our consumers as well around data privacy and their rights. So very important to really unlock that and understand that. The next is the new front door. Digital-first interactions are becoming more prevalent. I think we're still in basically an 80-20. 80% of traffic coming through CX is still over the phone, but we're starting to see that really shift in a different direction, and that's being driven by generative AI and agentic AI and changing that dynamic. I often call it flipping the funnel. How can you flip the funnel and have a different conversation with your customer where you're bringing data forward, you're being hyper-personalized in the conversation that you're having, and it's creating this new front door. And you have to be able to stitch across all of your multi-channel experiences to meet your customers where they are. Whether they're going onto your mobile app, whether they're on your website, they're calling in. All of that has to be orchestrated together to create this better experience through that new front door. The third pillar that I want to talk about is competitive forces. I think about my world at Geico and my previous role. We're all in what I would consider to be a takeaway business at this point. Consumers have options. They have choices out there. How do you stand out? Technology is often the differentiator for customers in where they kind of take their brand and where they go next. So thinking about how to handle that and unpacking that is really important. Relevance and hype. I think this might be my favorite one, and it kind of attaches back to not all trends are worth chasing, but it's focusing on the practical solution over the buzzwords. So where can you start in your journey for AI adoption that's truly going to add value for your customers? What are those friction points that you really feel like you need to address that's causing pain, that you could see return on investment from quickly, and not just falling into the relevance and the hype cycle? We're definitely in the hype cycle for agentic AI. Raise your hand again, how many, if you've sat through a lot of agentic conversations, right? As you've gone through the sessions here at reInvent. It's the theme. We're probably in the trough of disillusionment right now coming up, but you got to be able to hone in on a use case or a POC that's really going to help your organization drive value and meet your customers and what they truly value. So understanding that first is very important. The next is buried value. So I love to talk about data with my customers, data as the foundation for everything that you do. And I talked to a customer yesterday, and she said, our data is like gold. And wow, that's a powerful, powerful image, right? I completely agree. Your data is like gold. So how do you take that buried value and make your data impactful, understand it, and really tune it to the optimizations and the goals that you have? And we're definitely in an agentic shift, right? We're going to talk about some of the pillars that you should be considering as you think about agentic journey in your organizations next. But it's all about scaling meaningful and measurable experiences. And the future really belongs to those customers who can turn every interaction for their customer into impact. The measurable aspect is crucial here because every touch point must be quantifiable, allowing us to track impact through concrete metrics. And this is kind of going beyond, the traditional metrics of customer satisfaction, engagement rates. I'm trying to help my customers really start to think about, well, what comes next? How are you measuring containment across your entire ecosystem? If a customer's making a phone call, but they chat you 30 minutes later, was that really successful? Or do you have something else that you need to explore? So creating moments that matter for your customers, creating hyper-personalized experiences where you're giving them the outreach in the moment that matters the most to them is really going to be the winning combination in the future. So again, how do you think about getting started on your journey to agentic? And there's 4 things that came out of a Harvard Business Review article that was published in October. And the first is designing around outcomes. And again, what I first mentioned was making sure you really understand where you're trying to take your customer. What is the goal you're trying to reach? What value are you trying to create? And working to design around those outcomes. But first, you have to bring people along with you. And I did a lot of this in my prior life of identifying people within the organization that could be change champions. In the article, it referenced them as accountable mission owners. And I really loved that as well, right? Are we all on a mission together to really understand how agentic is going to unlock? You have to have folks that are willing to understand, explore the technology, test the technology, because things are changing so very rapidly. The conversation that we're having today on December 2nd, 2025, in 6 months is going to be very different. In 12 months will look very different. So really making sure you bring folks into your organization that can help propel and drive that change is so important. And again, I love data. I love talking about data, unlocking data silos and clarifying business logic. So the great thing about agentic and generative AI, it can often go across your data silos, right? It can pull the pieces that matter out. But where I see my customers struggling most today as they stand up agentic experiences and generative experiences is when they themselves really haven't looked at their knowledge content. They don't know where their knowledge base is, and it may be outdated. They might pull up something and, oh, wow, we haven't updated this since 2021. And I say bad data in equals bad data out. That's not going to empower the right experience for your customer that you're trying to drive. So really making sure you understand that business logic, clean it up so that you get those powerful outcomes to drive that ROI. And then the last and probably most important piece of this, and it's kind of attached to the accountable mission owners, is developing the leaders and the guardrails. So I know I'm on an educational journey. I'm trying to learn and be curious every day as this landscape changes. You have to make sure you're investing in that yourself as leaders, but also bringing that to your team. How can you make sure that everyone is learning together, because this is moving very fast, and developing things together that's going to drive things forward? So as I hand things over to Travis to dive deeper into the journey at Petco, I just wanted to leave you all with these things to think about. And the work that you do every day, and I say it often, think big, start small, and iterate. Where I see often everyone go wrong is we want to try to boil the ocean and do everything at one time. But if you corner in on where you want to drive that value, what is the most friction-filled experience, and target that first, you're going to likely have a better outcome. So without further ado, and this is the most exciting part, I'm so excited to welcome Travis Gilbert to the stage to share more about the Petco journey and where they're going next.
Connie might have oversold the exciting part. Good afternoon. Thank you for choosing to come to our session and learn a little bit more about Petco's journey with Amazon Connect. 2 years ago, I was sitting in your seat. It was my first reInvent. I was new to my job, and I was new to Amazon Connect. And we were using Amazon Connect for phone and IVR. We had just made the decision to move conversational analytics to contact lens, and we were facing a big decision about chat on our chat platform while everyone's talking about AI, including leadership at the company. And so sitting in your shoes, I had two big burning questions. How do we make sure that we get the most business and customer impact from our technology investments? And then also, what horse are we going to ride into the AI future? Like, what platform are we going to choose, and how important that decision was going to be for us in terms of what was coming? So my hope for you today is that you learn a little bit or something, maybe a takeaway from our journey that you can take back to your business. Before I get too far, I want to acknowledge that I represent customer care at Petco, which is one of many teams, a cross-functional, dedicated team of people that have come together to do what I'm going to share with you today and continue to work together. That includes customer care, Petco IT and product management, and our trusted partners with Pronetics and Julica. I'm going to ask the Pronetics folks to raise their hand real quick. Thank you, guys. I feel really blessed to have a great group of partners and stakeholders that are kind of in service of the customer outcomes that we want. So with that, who is Petco? We're where the pets go. So we are one of the biggest U.S. pet retailers in the U.S. with over 1,500 stores in the U.S. and Mexico. We are celebrating 60 years being in business this year. And we're one-stop shop, meaning that you can come in and buy dog food and cat litter and accessories and collars. You can get your dog trained, your dog groomed. You can get a vaccination shot for your pet. And we have veterinary hospitals all under one roof. On top of that, our nonprofit foundation, Petco Love, has helped more than 7 million pets find homes. And so we're very proud of that. So a little bit about our landscape and customer service. So we have roughly 400 care team members, and we service everything. We take calls about complaints from the stores. We help people book veterinary appointments or grooming appointments. But roughly half, a little less than half now, of our volume is around e-commerce. So I ordered on the phone, ordered on the website. So all the things you would imagine, where's my order, payment issues, all those things. Let me have a show of hands of who has a pet at home. All right, keep your hands up if you consider that pet to be part of your family and sometimes in competition for favorite family member, right? So you can imagine that some of the contacts we get are very emotional, particularly when it comes to prescriptions, Or maybe you're on repeat delivery and we didn't deliver your dog food when we committed to delivering it and you are out of dog food. So we have to be really good at handling some of those contexts. A little bit about our journey, and I'm going to go through each of these in more detail. So for us, the business strategy is what are the business and customer outcomes that we really want to achieve? And we'll talk later, but and as Connie mentioned, sometimes you get that out of order because we all get excited about the shiny object and the technology. But what is it that we're here to do? What is it we want to have happen for the customer? Technology strategy is, okay, how are we going to leverage technology and that investment to go deliver those outcomes? And then finally, I've been doing this for a while. I truly believe one of our biggest charters at the company is about voice of the customer and how we amplify that. So our business strategy, like many of you, we are constantly balancing cost and customer satisfaction. So how do we get the best service, best quality of service, best customer satisfaction for the lowest cost? And the way that we think about this, or have come to think about this, is really trying to understand the impact we can have on the customer in a particular inquiry. So where's my order? Most of the time, probably not a lot of impact we can have on that customer in terms of upping their loyalty. However, if a pet passed, or maybe you're part of our VitalCare Premier paid membership and you want to cancel, maybe you're a high lifetime value customer, those are high impact conversations that we want to have. We want to invest in a great human interaction. Right? Whereas maybe some of the other ones we're happy to use AI or some other self-help experience that still needs to be great, but differentiating these is the way that we think about balancing that trade-off. Technology strategy. So I've been in lots of organizations where we had 5 or more different applications stitched together to try to make the customer service function work for agents or whatever else. And I have a strong perspective, and I think the team has a strong perspective, that we want fewer integrations. We don't have an unlimited technology budget. We have very finite resources. We don't want to spend that time managing a bunch of integrations and trying to extract data or transcripts from this system to try to get the insights out of a different system. So it's one of the reasons Amazon Connect works really well for us, because we have contact lens with the transcripts, we've got calls, we have IVR, we have chat all running through the same platform. And so we get to benefit from that native integration. And we want someone who has an aggressive roadmap. Like, we know what AI can do for our business, and we want someone who's keeping up with those trends and is frequently delivering new features. And then finally, it has to be enterprise grade. It has to scale, it has to protect data, and our IT InfoSec teams have to be happy and comfortable that what we're choosing is going to protect those things. And then finally, voice of the customer. We talk to more than 10,000 customers a day. That's equivalent to more than 30 of our retail stores. So, and of course, like many of you, the customers only reach out when they have a problem. So we really, truly are the best source, I believe, in the company of customer insight. The challenge is unlocking that insight and doing it in a way where we can go have a conversation with the business stakeholders, say, did you know that you had a promotion problem yesterday and we got 1,500 calls about that, and oh, by the way, that cost this much, and here was the CSAT scores on those calls, and by the way, that probably reflects a bunch of people who stopped and didn't check out because of the promo issue. So those are the types of things that we want to surface from our conversations with customers. So wins so far. This is probably what you all came to hear about. Speed of implementation has been very helpful for us with Amazon Connect, and I'll give you 2 examples. We did a pilot with the grooming salon. So grooming is usually in our store, and there's a set of groomers, and they're actually, we want them grooming pets, but they also are supposed to be answering the phone. And so imagine you're grooming a dog on a table, it's a little bit squirrely, the phone rings, you have to take the dog off the table, put it in a crate, run over to the office, answer the phone, hopefully book an appointment, and then go back. Doesn't work very well. So, but our grooming salons have individual numbers. And so the IT team had to work with us to say, okay, we're gonna do this pilot, we wanna route all of those numbers to the call center. And we started with like 6 grooming salons. A similar example was with our veterinary hospitals, where we support about 100 vet hospitals where the calls come direct to the contact center. We didn't have an IVR at first, but our biggest call driver was vet and tech callbacks, meaning your dog's at the vet, they called you and you're calling back. Well, it was getting to an agent who was just going to transfer it to the hospital. No value add, a bunch of costs. So in both of those cases, the IT team was able to build those IVRs, reroute the calls within a couple weeks versus a couple months and having it be a big production. So that was very valuable for us. All right, from an AI perspective, I'm going to show you a screen in a minute, but we're doing call summaries. We have that turned on in Amazon Connect. The benefit of that, initially, the big focus was we take those and we put it right in the case notes. So hopefully we're bringing down handle time. We are bringing down handle time as a result of that. What's also become very valuable for our team is that when we're trying to find out what's going on with a customer, it's so much faster to just read the paragraph and go, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. And we can move faster with that. Automated QA, I'm going to show you, again, the screen, you can see it. But we're starting down the path of automating a lot of the QA that all of us know. You're usually using coaches that sample on a very infrequent basis. We're getting some insight from being able to do it. The example I'll give you is we found out from customer satisfaction results that one of the biggest drivers is when the agent puts the customer on hold for 2 minutes or more, that we would start to see a degradation in results. So we created a rule in Amazon Connect that happens on every single call to flag, okay, this agent is putting customers on hold way too much. What do we need to learn about that? What action do we go take? AI-supported agent assistance. We're just getting into this now with our chat launch, but we're really excited about getting away from an agent having to open an article, kind of figure out what they need and where to find it, to have Amazon Connect and Q and Connect just pop a paragraph and answer based on the transcript that's running. And we think we're just scratching the surface. We think there's a lot more to be had there. And then finally, in November, early November, we launched chat on Amazon Connect, and it included a chatbot. So we're using Amazon Flows for about 4 high-frequency things like order status, those types of things. And we've started out small. We've loaded 20 KB articles into what is before reInvent Q and Connect, loaded it, and are getting Gen AI answers to those. And so we're learning a lot, but we're really excited to start adding more and more articles so we can expand that. I will tell you, big lesson learned. We thought we had all of the utterances covered, and we didn't. And so we're learning a lot, and we're adding those in real time. And then finally, before that, again, working with our partner Pronetics, we started to put order status in our IVR. Pretty straightforward. If we see that you have an order and we can match the ANI, then we're saying, hey, I see that you have an order. Is that what you're calling about? If yes, then we read the information back to them. And then at the end of that, if they still need help, then we let them go to an agent. So for those of you, most of you probably have seen this, but for those of you who haven't seen this, here is the screen when I go look at a particular contact, and you can see AI happening here in 3 places. So up in the upper right, this is the contact summary, much easier than reading the transcript. In the middle is those rules from a QA perspective, and again, this was taken when we only had a couple of rules launched. You can see, though, I like how this shows, hey, this is what happened on this contact, the agent average, and then all contacts average. And then on the bottom is sentiment, both at the beginning and at the end of the call. We're still learning how to use this. My early thoughts is that we want to produce a dashboard for a supervisor or a team manager that shows them their whole team and shows a bunch of metrics, including kind of ending sentiment, so that the supervisor knows where to go spend their time and which agents to spend more time with. What's next? We are in business requirements right now to drive towards conversational IVR. We're super excited about this, both from a customer experience perspective, but also what it's going to do for our routing. And we hope to both make it easier for the customer to tell us what they're calling about, but also bring in a lot of information from our customer CRM system so that we're doing a lot smarter routing. I mentioned we had 20 articles and we've got some flows. We think we're just scratching the surface. So for example, next year we're hoping to be able to have a customer book an appointment, like a grooming appointment or a vaccination appointment, in the chatbot and eventually over voice using Amazon Connect. Today we're just sending them to a link, but we can't see if we lose the customer in that motion or not. And so we're excited about that. And then just more voice of the customer insights. We're really trying to squeeze as much insight out of contact lens as we can, but we think we can do a lot better even than what we have today. Lessons learned. Click. Connie mentioned this, but it's so true, and I'm guilty. My team would tell me I'm guilty of this. You got to focus on business outcomes and customer outcomes first before you get into the really cool technology. The technology really is the how, and getting really clear on the what. And I think for me and the team is like, hey, what's the outcome we want? How do we measure that outcome? And let's have a metric, and so then everything else flows from that. And the how becomes a lot cleaner and simpler, at least to make those decisions if we're really clear on what we're trying to achieve. Prioritized reporting, I'll tell you that is so true right now. We have thousands of chatbot experiences a day, and we're trying to make sure we understand, okay, what are the utterances that are getting missed, where are customers dropping out or abandoning in that experience. So having good reporting on that so that you can then tune and as Connie mentioned, iterate becomes super important. Data readiness for AI. So we spent a lot of time with the Amazon team on those first articles and making sure that we had them formatted in the right way, which was different than how we had them formatted with agents. And so we spent a lot of time on that. We're still learning how the format and even the content of the article impacts the outcome, both for AI direct to the customer, but also for agent assist. And so we're definitely on a journey in that regard. And then change management matters. So we were all super excited about this, but we had a bunch of other stakeholders in the organization that we had to go basically sell on our approach. We're using AI for something that was really scary. For those of you who are maybe in this space already, you know that there's a bunch of state-specific laws in the US that make this a little bit more complicated. We went through our AI Governance Council, and then we had a bunch of stakeholders on board and say, this is what we're trying to accomplish, this is how we're using AI, this is how we're safeguarding that. So lots of lessons learned there, and we continue to report back. And finally, designing for the future. My big worry when I spend time with the technology teams is, hey, we're on a journey. This thing is, just like Connie mentioned, this thing's gonna look totally different in 2 years. We can't corner ourselves. Let's make sure the way we're architecting this is gonna set us up to just keep building and building and building. We can't put ourselves in a corner and not be able to, or have it be a big effort for us to design out of that. So I think this is my last slide. Again, my hope is that you learn something from our journey that you can take away. Thanks again for spending time with us today. And I do apologize, I'm bolting to catch a flight to make a family commitment. But thank you again for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Good to see you. All right. Can we give a round of applause to Travis since he set it out? Thank you so much, Travis. It's always so powerful hearing from a customer that you may be thinking, okay, how am I gonna apply this in my organization? What might it look like? So really wanna thank Travis for sharing his story. And now I'm super excited because I get to share with you some of the awesome announcements that we just made for Amazon Connect, all of which were announced yesterday in Pasquale De Maio's keynote. But we have several things that are out in the space. We had over almost 30 announcements for reInvent this year. And I'm just sharing the tip of the iceberg, only 4. So what I encourage everyone to do after this, as we get through talking about all of these announcements, is please go check out our booth, A13 on the floor. You can dive a lot deeper into what you'll be able to see. So I'm super pumped. This is probably my favorite announcement because I think this has been long awaited. We were working through beta, a lot of testing with our customers around agentic self-service with human-like voices. This is the integration that we have with Novasonic and Amazon Connect. And it's really meant to deliver more conversational, expressive voices. It's truly going to understand the customer's tone and intonation and be able to optimize to that. So a very powerful thing here from a conversational AI perspective to deliver those great outcomes that our customers are expecting. So AI voice agents can autonomously now handle complete customer interactions. It has adaptive voice responses matching customers' conversational style. And of course, that escalation to human agents if and when it's needed. The next announcement I wanted to share with you all this afternoon is transforming data into relationships through our AI-powered predictive insights, and this is in preview right now. So Amazon Connect is now providing AI-powered predictions that transform customer understanding through 5 recommended algorithms. And the system is analyzing customer behavior and interaction history and providing suggestions tailored both self-service and agent self-service interactions. So I love this one because this kind of goes back to that example I shared at the beginning where I was talking about my blazer and my kicks. So this is where we're able to recommend similar item suggestions, frequently paired items for cross-selling. So if my blazer matches my shoes, like maybe I'll buy that, right? So all of those great recommendations and popular and trending item recommendations. So again, this is in preview and there will be more announced on it soon. The next is evaluating the performance of self-service interactions. I think this is equally important, really understanding and making sure that not only can you understand what your human agents are doing, but what are your AI agents doing. So this is a unified view that's going to bring all of that together so you can understand how your agents are performing, how your AI agents are performing to drive those good outcomes. And then last but not least is accelerating outcomes with AI agent observability. So this is all about the fact that we've released and introduced new metrics that help organizations measure and improve AI agent performance in customer interactions. Contact center administrators can now access detailed performance data to optimize their AI implementations, ensure that quality control. So how we're doing that is through measuring percentage of AI-involved contacts and those handoff rates, where contact might have to hand off to a human agent, tracking conversational turns for self-service, and monitoring average handling time for agent assistance cases. So super excited to share just these 4, again, the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much more to unlock this week as it relates to customer experience with Amazon Connect. So I just want to say thank you for coming to our session. There's a lot more happening this afternoon, tomorrow, and Thursday. So please take some time. I see a lot of photos happening right now. That's awesome. To check out these other sessions. And again, come and visit us at our expo booth. The other thing that I want to anchor you all on is we talked a lot about learn and be curious today. We talked about going out there and understanding what's coming next. We've actually produced a skill builder course all around all of the releases for Amazon Connect at reInvent that's available to all of you. So you can go on Skill Builder, check it out, go through all the features. We also have a host of Amazon Connect badges. How many of you have completed an Amazon Connect badge? Raise your hand. All right, I see a few hands. I'd love to see more, so I would challenge all of you, if you haven't explored our Connect badges, they're great not only for technical folks, but also business analysts, really for everyone. There's a technical track and a business track, and make it a competition, make it fun, right? We all have to be on the same page as we're thinking about these technology transformations. So love to talk with you more about that. That's also something our team at the booth can chat with you on. So thank you. You took time out of your afternoon to join us for this session. I hope all of you learned something new that you can take back, and I will close this out here. If you all have any questions, I'll be available downstage for any questions. Thanks, everyone.